Hello everyone, it's Sunday morning. I'm in the heart of Bishopwearmouth in the centre of the city of Sunderland. And there's a clue to the past. Bishopwearmouth Village Green at the heart of the medieval settlement of Bishopwearmouth. This ancient village green was once a venue for traditional leisure pursuits including climbing a greasy pole and bull bait, last recorded in 1788. So this area has been done up lovely. It's absolutely gorgeous on a summer's day. But this particular video, we're off to Sunderland Minster, have a look at the graveyard. Just so you know where we are. There's part of the old Crow Tree Leisure Centre. There's somebody asleep on a bench. Now for the purposes of this video, there's three places. Bishopwearmouth, which is where we are now. It's obviously part of the city of Sunderland now. There is Sunderland, which is the east end, and then there's Monkwearmouth down along by the north side of the River Wear and Monkwearmouth shore. So each of these three parishes had their own parish church, and there's one thing they've all got in common. Most of them destroyed the graveyards. And it wasn't for health and safety or anything like that. It was all to make them sort of gardens of remembrance. So Sunderland Parish Church down the east end, that was the 1950s, and Monkwearmouth was very late 40s, early 50s if I remember, and this was a little bit earlier, because if you look at an old map of this whole area, there wasn't that much open space, so they had this idea, let's make gardens of remembrance. So effectively what it meant was you took the headstones down and kept some of them, well, a small fraction, let's just say. Like, I'll probably drop into this video some photos of how it looked. So if we have a look around, as you can see, absolutely nothing there. There's a couple around that corner there. But back in the day, the actual graveyard extended a little bit further than this, but obviously it's been trimmed back over the years, and many times the odd skeleton was found in surrounding areas. The church became Sunderland Minster in 1998. There's a service on at the moment. Before that was formerly known as St Michael and All Angels, but effectively it was Bishopwearmouth Parish Church, or the Parish Church of Bishopwearmouth. So if you look, when you've seen on some of my videos when I'm at Bishopwearmouth Cemetery, how many times it mentions Bishopwearmouth Churchyard or Parish Churchyard. We're a little bit higher than the surrounding land, because over, I think the earliest origins of this church are the 900s. We're talking Anglo-Saxon times, Danes, Raiden and so on. And the Bishopwearmouth was formed around this particular village green, and then it spread down towards Sunderland and then out westwards up to Millfield and Chester Road. Look at activity there, a few birds. I'll let this particular church off a little bit because the Minster is deceptively large. So in the 1930s it was extended and built, so they obviously had to use some of the graveyard to do that, but even in the early 1800s it had also been restructured and so on, so it has expanded into the graveyard. So some of you can understand how to take some of them down, but there's two headstones here, and there is sacred to the memory of Sarah Taylor Ranson, daughter of John and Sarah Ranson of Bishopwearmouth. There's a young daughter, but if you look at the lettering on that is absolutely beautiful. And then next to it there's one which is split in two. That's John Wright of Bishopwearmouth, a gentleman who died 10th of January 1834, aged 30 years, and of Mary Wright, his widow. And then there's Frances Wright, their daughter and first child, who died 14th of September 1811, aged 12 years. So effectively this churchyard was closed in 1848, but if you had available space in one of the, like a family plot, you could bury somebody in here until about 1856. Because this church had three graveyards. It had this one, then behind that travel lodge there was a small graveyard called, it had loads of names, Hine Street, Low Road Graveyard. It was only ever had a couple hundred burials. And then there was the Gill Cemetery, which I've done a few, you should know about that by now, which was opened about 1839. It was in May 1856, Bishopwearmouth Cemetery opened. And then look, in memory of Alice, wife of George Shields, who died 1820, aged 41 years. So just behind us we've got the almshouses, or almshouses I should say. But then, I've always wondered why these two were kept. Who decided that we're going to keep these ones and destroy the rest? Well, not destroy, some of them were destroyed. That's members of the Good Child family. And Longbottom and Brough. So when you look at the old pictures, if there is any in this video, you'll see there were literally hundreds of headstones in this churchyard. And what they did is they put a lot of them into the paving around here. So look how high we are above Travelodge, the Vault Yard, Greens. So there are some in the path here, but just a small fraction. So there's the Vault Yard. That still has, if I remember, a couple of dozen burials underneath in the old vaults. But some of these memorials were actually from inside the church, because you might not know, but back in the day, wealthy people were buried inside, generally buried inside churches. It's a hard word to pronounce. And then obviously they've been cleared out, but some of these memorials are mentioned by George Garber in his book from the 1820s, which he published about the history of this church, where somebody turned up and wrote down all the memorials. Like, look at this one here. Near this place, interred the remains of William Hunter, fitter in Sunderland. So I think a fitter was to do with coal, like arranging ships and so on to get the coal away. He departed August, Anno Domini. I think it's very, very, very early 1800s. I can't remember much of my Roman years, and it's a bit hard to see. But look at this. It mentions and Thomas, a posthumous child who died June the 13th, 1763, aged 9 years and 1 month. So a posthumous child was a child who was born after one of the parents died. Obviously, generally it was a father who had passed away. It's rare. That's the only occasion I've ever seen a headstone which mentions posthumous on. I have come across a few people who were posthumously born. One of these is really old. Hannah, wife of Ellis Vireyard of Sunderland, a gentleman, daughter of William Eyre of Box in the county of Wiltshire, Esquire, aged something years, lies here. December. Lies here. DEC, or probably deceased. Anno Domini 1716. That's 309 years ago. I think that was actually in the church as well. And I did that video, the Blue Slate Memorial, about the Preston family. And as you can see, this is a lovely blue cement. Some of these stones are absolutely huge. There's William Preston, slate merchant of Leeds, formerly of this place. That's 1829. I mentioned the Preston family were like a slate merchant family. Oh, we've got a little bit of sun, so it's been cloudy for the last couple of days. After this video, I'm off across the New Keel Crossing and had my lunch at that Side Kings proper. I went a couple of months ago and it was the best pie I ever had. And this one here is for a pair of parents. This is the absolutely beautiful epitaph. It's hard to see. It's about the Blackstone family. And they died April 17, I think that's 53 or 30. I've got my torch, I can't put down, I've got a bad back. Most humbly did his God excel. A husband, good, a parent. I've got the inscription. You can probably see it better on the camera. I can't, unless I look through the camera, I can't actually see it and I'm bent over. So that was done by children for their beloved parents. So as you can see, there's a couple more down here. And we are quite high up in this particular church, as mentioned. And that's basically because over the centuries it's been so packed with burials and probably putting some ballast down to like raise the level of it. So we're much higher than the surrounding land. that wall did collapse. I think it was 1862 or 63, with loads of skeletons and all that going over the lower row. There is a separate video for that. I've never noticed this one. There's one there as well. So literally, we've been round a big, massive chunk of their graveyard, and there isn't many headstones now. And some of those that I've shown you were actually from inside the church. When it's been expanded, they've been moved out. There's none on the High Street West, and in the 1930s, this particular, you didn't get this. The church was largely expanded. I think it was its last major expansion, but it had been hidden for well over 150 years from view by all buildings in front of us on here. So what they did is they knocked all the buildings down. They made the wall a lower wall, and they dug up some of the remains so you get a better vista and a better view of the church, because it had been hidden for all that time. So they actually had to dig up to the remains, and that's why they put this slope in. I'll show you it in a moment. There is a clump of headstones there. And it's Newark Reveille, coal fitter, Burlington engineer. So if you notice there's 6 there, you can fit hundreds of headstones into a place as big as this, with probably might be a couple of thousand. And then look at these on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 here. I've always wondered it. I think these have been placed here. They don't look right. And neither do those. They're too close together, and they're not in a straight line. Just my thoughts. Elizabeth McGee, who died November the 21st, 1791. William Dodd Mason. Reed. George Hodgson of Bishopwearmouth. George Arneson. Lost at sea, December 1820. This is probably the most interesting one. It's for Samuel Hodgson, who, with 16 others, they drowned when the little boat they were on overturned down between Wearmouth and Sunderland. It's probably one of the worst I think it probably is the worst boating accident on the River Wear. Some reports have 21 kids, some have 17, 18, but literally they were going across on the ferry because there was no bridges then. And that was one of the reasons why the first Wearmouth Bridge was built, to help safety as well. And it overturned, and they all drowned. There was a soldier from the Sunderland barracks was drowned, the servant girl, the preacher. But this is probably where the most of the headstones are, right? But even then, we're only talking 1, 2, 3, 4. We're only talking maybe 50 or 60 around this area. Oh, reader, survey the ground. I'll probably pay something, and look at that. I wish I could read this. I think there is an inscription in Sunderland Antiquariums. So it's basically telling the reader, it's a memento mori epitaph, that you must die. So it'll be reader, survey the ground in front of you, or something like that. Think, and then at the bottom you can see the call. I'm going to have to look that one up because that's and then it says ask yourself. Very deep. I just got entangled on my bloody stick. My new trainers as well. Bloody hell. 2 seconds, I've just got a huge stick caught in my shoes. What are the chances of that, eh? I did that Cuthbert Vaux video the other day, and this is for members. Look, this stone is erected or prepared by Richard Vaux, AD 1873, and there's John and Hannah Vaux, Thomas their son, Hannah Vaux, Ralph. They're all names associated with Cuthbert Vaux, and Cuthbert. So I think this is possibly either uncle or the parents of Cuthbert Vaux, the brewer. I've never researched that one. And then there's a few more down here. I think my trainers will survive. And then we've got William Tone. Just walk around here. He died 1850, 10th of November 1850. His son was the Tone who built lots of big houses in Sunderland. He was a builder. And then there's Catherine Diston. This is a lovely stone here. Kelton. Oh, there's that cherub on the top. So I'm just going to scan around now. Right, so we've been round practically all of this particular graveyard, and that's all that's pretty much here. When it snows, you can read these epitaphs really well because the snow fills in the cracks, and sometimes when I come to work I ever walk through. Hopefully this Christmas we get a bit of snow. That's the only problem when you put headstones in our path. Obviously people walk on them, so they wear away. And there's a few down the back of here. And then in the wall there's burial place of John Oyston, and I think it's something 1822 or something. I've never been able to find out who he actually was. I even put it on Facebook for help, and nobody could pin him down because there just isn't anybody who matches him, if I remember. And then there's a couple here as well. Sometimes look how that's a bit clearer because there's bits of leaves gone into there. That's Benjamin Hewitt. And it also mentions another Benjamin Hewitt. One of them was a shipbuilder. He was known as the man who could build ships, but he couldn't launch them. I think his son was an auctioneer and so on. But and then there's a couple more near the bins. And then this there, obviously, it's a lovely little lane. That's Church Lane. Let's have a quick look because I think there's some people coming up. So there. Right, so I'm going to end that video now. That was just a quick tour of Sunderland Minster graveyard, or Bishopwearmouth Parish Church. I do want to do a video inside because it's got some beautiful stained glass and also some great plaques and a bit of history in there. Lots of epitaphs on the wall. And there is a cafe in there, so I might pop in there, have a coffee. So thank you very much for watching this particular video, and I'm just going to leave you with this last view of these lovely, I think they're Edwardian, early 1900s buildings. Sunderland Minster, you might have been to, and next to it, look at that Dunkhout. Isn't that just the most beautiful pub you've ever seen? And then next to it is the fire station. Right, I'm off to Keel Crossing, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you could do me a big favour, if you have watched it and you enjoyed it, click on the subscribe. It helps grow the channel, and give it a like. Thank you very much. And there we are, Sunderland Minster. Thank you. Bye.